Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Who is Piaget? Piaget was a Swiss developmental psychologist and philosopher known for his studies with children. Piaget placed great importance on the education of children as the director of the International Bureau of Education. Piaget created the International Center for Genetic Epistemology in Geneva in 1955 and directed it until 1980. He originally studied natural history and philosophy before becoming a psychologist at the University of Neuchâtel in Switzerland. Piaget is best known for his research in cognitive development. In Piaget's theory, there are 4 stages of cognitive development that we go through. The first stage is the sensory-motor stage, which lasts from birth to approximately age 2 and is centered on trying to make sense of the world. During this stage, a child's knowledge of the world is limited to their sensory perceptions and motor activities. Behaviors are limited to simple motor responses caused by sensory stimuli. Children utilize skills and abilities that they were born with, such as looking, grasping and placing, and listening to learn more about their environment. This is Jack. He is currently in the sensory motor stage of development. He is playing with his blocks and toys. Mentally, he is exploring the properties of these toys, recognizing their different sizes and properties by observing and manipulating them. The next stage of cognitive development is the pre-operational stage, spanning from age 2 to 7. In this stage, children gain the knowledge of language and are able to use symbols to represent objects. Children will also begin to personify objects. Oriented in the present, children at this stage have difficulty conceptualizing time. Their thinking is influenced by fantasy, and they assume that others see situations from their viewpoint. In this stage, children start to role-play and pretend. Evan here is currently in the pre-operational stage of development. He is playing with Legos, creating a fantasy world for himself. He has completely lost track of time and has played straight through lunchtime without even realizing it. Evan shows a characteristic very closely associated with this stage of development: egocentrism. Watch what happens when someone attempts to play with one of Evan's Legos. Evan cannot comprehend the fact that somebody else might want to play Legos too, and is only seeing the situation from his own point of view. The third stage is the concrete operational stage. This stage usually occurs between the ages of 7 and 12. During the concrete operational stage, a child begins to see the world in relation to others, not just himself. Children also begin to develop logical thinking. They begin to understand that the ways objects are set up has nothing to do with the amount of an object. To demonstrate this, there are 2 identical glasses filled equally with water. Any child would agree that they both contain the same amount. When one of the glasses is poured into a thinner glass, however, children who have not reached the concrete stage would say that the glass on the right contains more water, despite witnessing the water transfer glasses. A child in the concrete stage of development, however, would realize that the 2 contain the same amount of water. The final stage of Piaget's theory is known as the formal operational stage. The formal operational stage begins around age 12 and lasts throughout our adult lives. During this stage, we develop both logical and abstract thinking. We also begin to grasp abstract concepts. Our thought process is ever-changing. Jake here is an example of someone who has achieved formal operations. Currently, he is using his abstract thinking ability to write a musical adaptation for the movie 300. With his other hand, he is demonstrating his developed grasp of abstract concepts by designing a black hole generator. Much of the criticism of Piaget's work is in regards to his research methods. A major source of inspiration for his theory was Piaget's observations of his own 3 children. In addition to this, the other children in Piaget's small research sample were all from well-educated professionals of high socioeconomic status. Because of this unrepresentative sample, it is difficult to generalize his findings to a larger population. Also, some research has disputed Piaget's argument that all children will automatically progress through the stages of development as they mature. Some data suggest that environmental factors may play a role in the development of formal operations. Piaget's focus on cognitive development has had an important impact on education. While Piaget did not specifically apply his theory to education, many educational programs are built upon the belief that children should be taught at the level for which they are developmentally prepared. In addition to this, a number of instructional strategies have been derived from Piaget's work. These strategies include providing a supportive environment, utilizing social interactions, and peer teaching.